Hi y'all. Today I'm going to show you how I make bread, and it's important to know how to make bread. It's just about 3 ingredients, okay? And this has been sitting overnight in the fridge, and it's fermented. And I added a little bit of nutmeg to mine to give it a little different flavor. But there's a lot of ways to make bread, and this might not be the right way, but it's a way that works. And what you do is, a lot of people think that you need the oven, but you don't really need an oven. You could turn on the flame, heat up your skillet, and stretch this out just like a pizza, right? And flatten it out, which is what I'm going to do after I make this video. I'm going to heat up the stove, and notice you want cast iron. You know, cast iron is going to last a long time. A lot of this stuff is, well, this right here is 35 years old. This skillet right here. Okay, and no, that's probably 30 years old over here. Those other ones, but they last a very long time. And notice how I have a coffee pot for the flame, in case you have to turn over to wood. But anyways, so this is what your fermented dough looks like right here. And let me just go ahead and show you the way I do it. Now, there's some people that, you know, they keep this this yeast going, just regular all-purpose flour, and they feed the yeast, and then they take some and they put it in the new container and let it ferment. But let me just go ahead and show you. There's different ways to do it. I work with 3 ounces. I wanted to show you this can of beans right here. That's a 3-ounce glass. One of these 1-pound bags will fill a 3-ounce little glass 3 times. You get 5.3 ounces, and this is 5.3 ounces right here. Okay. Now you can take these beans right here and cut it or dilute it, mix it in with regular chili with beans, and that'll give you, you know, a watered down version of chili with beans. Let me get this out of the way. Just want to show you real quick, you know. So you take your 3 ounces of flour, and you have 3 ounces of water. And then you have yeast right here, active dry yeast. Okay, you want to take some. Remember, there's some people that they know how to keep this yeast alive by putting it in a glass jar and constantly adding a little bit of flour to it to keep it alive. But if you ran out of this stuff right here, you know, eventually if you get into making bread and all this other stuff, you could move on. But anyway, so you take a little bit of this yeast, throw it in there, and then throw that back in the refrigerator. I don't know if you need to put it in the fridge, but anyways, so you have that in there. Okay, now you could take some sugar. Just take a spoon of sugar right here, and go ahead and put that in there too. And then add a little bit of water. This is real simple. Kind of stir it up. And then you want it to bubble. You want that yeast to bubble. Now you could also turn around and, you know, the people that know what they're doing, they take some of this yeast, some of this bread that they already made, and then you could just keep going, you know, taking some of this. I don't know if I want to put my, you know, they take some of this right here. I'm gonna take some. See how that's ready to go? This is ready to turn into bread. Stir it in there somehow, and you got that active yeast going on in there. You got that active yeast action going on. Okay. Now they have this thing called instant yeast, where you could just. Do I have a packet? Yeah. Instant yeast, fast acting. Where this right here is active dry. I don't really know the difference between the two, but you want to have some of these packets. So you just kind of stir it up, and then that'll ferment. And how much time I got on here? How many minutes I got? Oh, okay. I got a certain amount of time. So you have that, and then what you do is after it ferments and it starts bubbling up, you already see some little bubbles right there. This yeast is starting to eat that sugar. So after it bubbles up, you just take your powder and you slowly start adding it. And then you stir it in there really good. You stir it in real good. Mix it all up. And it's gonna, you know, you want to add some water. And just stir it up real good until it gets into like a little liquid. And then you're gonna go back later. You're gonna stir it up really good, and it's gonna start to ferment. Look, it's already fermenting. See all that right there? This is moving kind of quick. So this yeast is like really active. But you let it ferment, and it's gonna bubble up like this right here. And then you're gonna come back and, you know, add more until you get like a ball of dough. You're gonna come back again in about an hour or two. Stir it up again. And then after you stir it up, you gotta put a lid on it, like this. And you just wait, and about 12 hours later or overnight, you're gonna get something like this. Now, I had this in the refrigerator. And then what you do is you heat up your skillet really hot, and use some olive oil, sunflower oil, whatever kind of oil you want. I usually have avocado oil in there, but a friend gave us this bottle of some kind of fancy olive oil. I don't know. And you heat it up, and you could cook it like a piece of bread. And you'll always have bread. And the thing to remember here is every ounce is 100 calories. Just a ballpark figure. Okay? 3 ounces of beans, that's 300 calories. 3 ounces of bread flour, just go ahead and say it's 300 calories. That's how you're going to measure. You want to be able to measure. You want to be able to measure your calorie intake. It's going to, if it gets real serious, it's going to be about calories. It's not going to be about anything else. It's going to be about survival and calories. So you could keep your yeast alive by constantly moving it over to your new batch. And this way you'll always have a batch of bread, every day. It'll keep going. But you got to learn. You got to start somewhere. Just go ahead and get yourself one of these little containers. Some yeast, whether it's this stuff right here or a packet, and you just got to play with it. A lot of people are used to just surviving with cans. Okay, you got to move forward. You got to try to do more than cans. Now remember, this is all dry. None of this requires refrigeration. Okay, now I have this in the refrigerator, but you could keep this fermenting and keep a little process going. See how it's already starting to bubble up down in there? That yeast is eating the bread or eating the flour, and it's causing the bubbles. Okay, so all this is dry goods. You don't need a refrigerator if you know how to survive without a refrigerator. You better learn how to survive without. Sorry, you got to learn how to survive without refrigeration. Okay, and then you could just cook it. You don't have to put it in the oven. Everyone's used to having bread that looks like bread, but this is just the same thing. And they make pizzas out of this stuff too. They really know how to doctor it up with oils and stuff like that to make some really good sweet tasting bread. But anyways, you could use honey instead of sugar. All right, and honey lasts a long time. Okay, so that's how you make bread. And make sure you get your skillet hot enough. Now you can put it in here, and you can make like a like a pizza or whatever if you wanted to. But you don't need to put it in the oven. You can just cook it right on the skillet. See y'all later.